Hi guys, it's Amy, Gable Stitcher, back with a stitching update video. Today is Friday. I believe it's November 9th. It is 2019, I do know that. So October is over. It went by in a flash, and now we are into the last 2 months of the year, which is kind of crazy, but time does march on and wait for nobody. The video might look a little bit different. I'm filming in the same location, but I'm using a different camera. I got a new phone last week, and I think the camera on my new phone is better than my laptop camera, so I wanted to try it out. Regardless, it's definitely easier to film with. So we will see how this video looks and tweak if we need to. But, you know, let's kind of get into my piles here. It's only been about 2 weeks since my last video, but I do have a lot to show everybody. I have a finish, I have some whips. I do not have any FFOs, but I do have a lot of plans as well. I have decided that I am gonna make November and December, finish it November and December, and see how many whips I can whip down before the end of 2019. I was looking through my finishes for the year, and I have 10. I had kind of set for a goal for myself at the beginning of the year to hit 12, 1 month, and I think I will, but I really would like to finish a few more things if possible, just because why not? Finishes feel good, and then I can start some more things next year in 2020. So with that being said, let's get into the projects. So first, let's talk about my finish. When last we spoke, I had as a whip Spooky Halloween by Lakeside Needlecrafts. This is available for purchase as a downloadable PDF from Lakeside Needlecraft. So the website's on the bottom, lakesideneedlecraft.co.uk. It is a UK company. This was a previous mystery stitch along, now obviously not a mystery. I wasn't able to start this by Julie, Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World. She had seen it online and really liked it and wanted to know who it was, what the project was. And I had seen Christine, Every Stitch a Pleasure, working on it, and it was on my radar, and that just made me want to start it. So I did purchase the download. I dyed a piece of Monaco with some Rit dye. Use the call for DMC. And we have a finish. Hold it up. Try to get it all in. It is amazing. I love it. Granted, I did not finish it until November. One of my Facebook friends pointed out I was a little bit late, and many people then jumped to my defense and said I was early for 2020. And I believe I am. So first, Halloween finish for Halloween 2020. I love it. I think it came out amazing. I did not use the glow-in-the-dark white. I should have, because it would have been more amazing. I did use the light effects for the green and the yellow. The white is B5200, and the black is DMC 310. So, yay. Came out really nice. I gave a little piece of the fabric to a friend who needed a piece of fabric for an ornament. I think I'm actually going to use another piece of the fabric to make a scissor fob or two. As far as finishing it, fully finishing it, I think I am just going to mount it on a piece of mat board and maybe put it on an easel or something next year. Go into those little like plate stands for Halloween. I haven't decided yet. I have 11 months to figure it out, but it is stitched. So one last time because I am so proud of it and I think it looks just amazing. There we go. So it's Spooky Halloween by Lakeside Needlecraft. And that was my finish number 10 of the year. Okay, so that is done. I did have some requests on my last video. People had asked if I would do a dyeing tutorial because of the way this fabric looked. I will link the fabric tutorial, dyeing tutorial that I used in the description box. I used Michelle Farm Girl's dyeing tutorial, and her RIT dyeing tutorial is excellent, and I used it. That's what I used with the RIT dye. I did it in a Pyrex bowl on my kitchen counter. It was very easy. Her directions are great. I highly recommend you watch that video if you're interested. And you know, if you have some fabric that you're not sure about or you don't love, dye it, because if you're not stitching with it now because you don't love it, if you ruin it by dyeing it, it's not a big deal. Like I said, this was a piece of Monaco from Michael's. So we're talking, it was like a $3 investment after my 40% off coupon. And it came out really cool. So that was Michelle Farm Girl's tutorial, and I will link that below. I finished that at Abby Bella Stitch's get together. She had a New England get together for stitching, and it was great. There were about 20 stitches there, which was awesome. And what was even more amazing is I only knew about 4 of them. So there were about 16 people there that I did not know that I got to meet. And we had a great time getting together, talking, stitching, laughing. We were there like all day on a Saturday. And thank you, Abby, very much for hosting that get together. She had talked about it in one of her videos, but she also put it on a board that Lynette Homesteading from the Homefront has started on Facebook for New England Stitchy meetups. And I will link that group below too. And it was really great. And this group is getting pretty active on Facebook. Things don't need to be formal. You know, just throw something out there. Say, hey, let's meet at Panera and stitch. I'm gonna be there. Anybody wanna meet me and stitch? You know, let's do that. And it's great to find the local stitchers near you and get together and gab and stitch and, you know, ooh and ah over each other's work and be enabled. So I finished that while I was there, and it was nice to have a finish with a group of stitchers who all, you know, we all celebrate each other's finishes just like we celebrate each other's starts. So I worked on that pretty fast and furious until I finished it. The next thing I had worked on is another Halloween piece that I started in September. I started this actually September 13th. It's the 3 Pumpkin Ladies by the Little Stitcher. And I am stitching this on a piece of 46 count linen. This is Weigart scrap that I got from Silk Weavers. And I'm stitching it with a mix of the called for DMC and some Victorian Motto floss that I'm subbing in. Let me hold that up. So I have finished the first 2 ladies, and I am starting on the 3rd. Mostly finished the first 2. And I think it looks really amazing. Like, I love this. I love working on this. I love stitching this. There is nothing I don't love about it. This is my first piece on 46 count. I am loving the 46 count. I started off using a hoop. You can see my hoop ring there. I really need to iron this. And then I realized I reached another level, new level of insanity last week. I pulled it out of the hoop and I started stitching it in hand. So if you ever told me like 5 years ago I'd be stitching 46 count linen in hand, I would have told you that you were crazy. But I don't know, for some reason I can see the holes right now, and it's easy for me to stitch it in hand because it's a small piece. and I can carry it with me. This has been my travel piece the last week or so. So there it is. So this is one of the whips. I'm talking about finish it November and December. I'm gonna go over my plans. This is one of the whips that I have in line for that. I think that there's a lot of stitching left in it because I do still have one whole dress, which is huge. And I have that whole row on the bottom of pumpkins. But it's close enough that we're gonna put it in as a contender. So that's one. And hold it one more time. So pretty. Someone at Abby's get together said that they don't stitch many small things, and I told them this isn't really super small. Like, I think of it as a small compared to some things, but it's 130 by 120. It's just because it's on 46 count that it looks really, really small. But it's tiny and delicate, and I love it. The other whip, I have so much stuff here, I don't even know where to put this. We'll put it back where I got it from. The other whip that I have been working on, I just pulled this out the other day, and it's one of the reasons why I waited an extra week to film, because if I didn't stitch this, Lynette would probably yell at me. So I worked on the 12 Days of Christmas by Satsuma Street. You can't find my cover sheet, like I couldn't find it before. Okay, so I worked on my 9 lady dancing. So I would like to finish this. This is a definite finish it November, December. This is the first for finish it November and December because I have the frame already to pop it in. I really want it displayed as of December 1st. So let me hold that up so you can see what I did. I worked on this week. My 9 ladies dancing. So I do love this. This takes a lot of work and counting, and there's a lot of color changes. So I have 3 more after my lady. I have her skirt and some flowers left. And I have the bottom banner. But I think it's really doable. I'm trying to get 1 block a week done in November, so then I can just frame it and hang it on December 1st. So I don't have my cover sheet, but you've all seen it. It's somewhere. Then I had a new start because October stitching was coming to an end, and it was very sad because I have so many Halloween and fall and Salem things I want to stitch. And because the month was only 31 days long and I got a little bit obsessed by Spooky Halloween, I didn't get to stitch as much as I wanted to. So when I was doing my Halloween video, I had showed Prairie Moon, that is the Trick or the Treat, which is one of my unicorns, one of many people's unicorns. And Julie had also had it, and so we decided to start it together on Halloween, and we did. Unfortunately, we weren't actually able to start it together because she's in Colorado and I'm in Massachusetts, because that would have been even better. But virtually stitching across the mile is the same thing on Halloween. It was okay. So I originally was gonna work on it, do it with some silks that I found when I was organizing some things. I found a nice stash of Vicki Clayton's hand-dyed silks that are like the perfect colors. They're rich, they're gorgeous. But when I was looking at them when I was starting to stitch, I realized they were her premium silks. And her premium silks are 1 strand is equal to 2 strands. And I was planning on stitching this on 40 count. So that wasn't gonna work. So instead I looked through my Victorian mono and I found 2 Victorian monos that I loved. Sleep Potion, and Something Wicked. And they may, let me see, they're not the same color. Sleep Potion is a little bit darker. Actually, you can see that in this camera. Sleep Potion's a little bit darker and more of a inky color, and Something Wicked is more like a charcoal. So I figured I would stitch some different motifs with the different colors to give it a little bit of a variegated look. My needle is even still in it. Hold on. So that's what I did. So I have a piece of Christmas in Williamsburg by Under the Sea Fabrics that is just like the most gorgeous brown color. Yeah, that's showing up. It is so rich. It's so beautiful. And there is my start. So I started it on Halloween and I stitched it a few days afterwards. I think I've said before, I like to give my starts 3 days. I worked on it about 3 days and I've been putting a little bit of length of floss in here and there otherwise. It is just amazing. I love it. I love the linen. I love the fabric. I love the pattern. And the real exciting thing is that this pattern was a total unicorn. I felt bad even showing it because you just couldn't get it. And I got very lucky that a good stitching friend of mine knew that it was my unicorn, and she found it at like a D-stash sale for a very reasonable price and picked it up, and I paid her for it. But you just can't find it. So this past week, Prairie Moon launched an online site selling PDFs, and Thine is the Trick or Treat is on there, as well as the No, Mine is the Trick or Treat, which is the follow-up to this. So if you would like to stitch Thine is the Trick or the Treat, you now can. And you don't need to sell a child or a kidney to do it. So that is very exciting. A lot of their patterns have just been impossible to find are on there. So I'll try to remember to link that below too. I haven't purchased any yet. There are a couple that I think I'm going to. I think I'll point my husband and my in-laws there for some Christmas shopping. So that is all I have for whips. Well, that's 4. That's a good amount for 2 weeks. Thine is the Trick or the Treat is not, obviously, for finish it November, December. As much as I would love to stitch on it every day, I'm gonna pace myself because I really, really am enjoying that. So let me go through the ones that I think I can finish. So the first finish is going to be 12 Days of Christmas. This is on 28 count white Monaco from a tube with DMC. Another focus on a finish I showed you was the Pumpkin Ladies. My third one, if you haven't been watching me for a while, you probably haven't seen this. I don't think I've worked on this since the spring. This is Quaker Garden by Blackbird Designs. Pull it up so you can see the whole pattern. This is a unicorn. As Abby would say, it's a golden virgin unicorn. Please do not ask if I will sell it to you or loan it to you. I'm not sure what I'm doing when I'm done with it, but please don't ask. I will likely hold on to it. This was my travel piece for a while this spring, and I really haven't touched it since about March or April. Here it is. Oh, that's so pretty. And I think the colors are showing up pretty true. This is stitched on the called for fabric, which is a weeks, with the called for fibers, which are also, I believe, mostly weeks. They might all be weeks. I said I haven't worked on this since about March, so I'm not sure. And this is about This is about at the halfway point, just about halfway. Just so, see the colors together. So pretty. So that is another one that is in the pile for Finish It November and December. Okay. Next, if you've been watching me for any length of time, you've seen this a million times, and I haven't stitched on it in the past 6 months either. Spooky Countdown by Primitive Hair. I think the last time I stitched on this was May. Original goal was block a week. Kept that up until May. Haven't touched it since. Jessie Marie recently finished it. It looks awesome. And here's mine. This is on a coffee and tea dyed by me piece of MCG textile linen. It is stitched for with the called for DMC. The only changes I have made is I added some purple here and there, and I changed these 2 blocks. This was block 8, this is block 7. I flipped them, and instead of writing spooky on the book, I wrote H7G. And that's my tribute to Nathaniel Hawthorne and the House of the Seven Gables. My YouTube name and Instagram handle is Gable Stitcher because I grew up in Salem and in the surrounding areas, and I worked at the House of Seven Gables as a tour guide for many years. So I needed to have some tribute to Hawthorne and Salem and the Gables in that piece. Next item on the list for Finish It November and December. This is old. This is Home of a Needleworker, the original one by Little House. I have it kitted up with all the called for DMC. This is Little House chart number 4. I think I started it when it came out. That's probably about 12 or 13 years ago. Let me show you how much I've done. Yep. That's it. I stopped because I hate the color of the house. And instead of just ripping it out and picking another color, I put it away for a decade. I haven't gotten rid of it because I do like the pattern. I don't like the color of the house. So I think what I'm gonna do, this is on 32 count Belfast. I'm ripping out the brown. I'm gonna change the color of the house, and I'm gonna finish it. And I also think I'm cutting out both alphabets and just moving the border up. That's my plan. So this is also a contender for Finish It November and December. My plan for November and December is really just to work on these Finish It items, not to work on anything else. The only other thing I might work on is I have one other Christmas piece that I started for the Home for the Holidays sale. I might work on that. But other than that, I really want to try to stick to these items so I can finish them. Okay, and one last thing for Finish It November and December. I started this in July. I will try to insert a picture. It is the Darth Vader. It's from Etsy. It says, "You don't know the power of the dark side." And the words are in the shape of Darth Vader. So this is on 32 count Belfast with DMC 310. And I think this will be a pretty quick and easy stitch. I had placed one of the words wrong and did a lot of frogging on it, so I didn't spend a time out. But I would like to finish that because that's for daughter number 2, Natalie. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 things to finish it November and December. We will see how many things I get finished. Realistically, it will not be all 6. If I could finish 3 or 4, I would be very, very happy. The reason why I really want to finish a few things is I have a lot of old whips. I mean, I have whips going back to 2003. I was looking through my whips and I have so many things too I want to start. Julie and I plan on starting a new Halloween start every 13th of the month for 2020 because we both have so much Halloween and fall things that we want to stitch. And right now I have, I think, 4 Halloween whips. That's it. So we plan on doing that next year. I can't guarantee that I'm going to start something every single month because sometimes I just don't have time for a new start or I get overwhelmed. But even if I start something 10 of the 12 months, that's 10 new starts. I also am doing a stitch along with Lynette from Homesteading on the Homefront, Donna Ray from Flannel Jammies Farm, and there was one other person joining us hosting it. I can't remember who it is. I'll link them below. It is the Savior's Praise sampler from Teresa of Kitten Stitcher and Shakespeare's Peddler. We are starting that on Easter. I also am going to be hosting a sal with Ellen Chester. This is the first time I'm mentioning it. It is a sampler called Botany Bay, and I am working with somebody to carry it for us. So if you're interested in samplers and would like to do a sal, please, look forward to having as many people who would like to join us with that. And yeah, so I'm going to be doing an end of the year wrap up video for finishes and my plans for next year. And I'm going to do some type of something with my old whips because the things that I still have, a few of them I'm going to either abandon or restart because I don't like the fabric. Most of them I really like and I want to have hanging on my wall. I just don't want to actually put in concentrated stitching time on them right now. So I'm trying to work something out. So coming soon in December, there will be some type of wrap up of 2019 video, as well as plans for what is happening for my really old whips for next year. But a lot of talk about I want to finish stuff for 2019. So we'll see. Ideally, I would like to finish 4. We'll see. I feel like every video recently is, Amy's lied again about what she's actually going to do. Not really lying, just things don't pan out. So that's that. All right, I have a bit of Stitchy Kindness, and this will also go into next year. So I want to say about this. This is an old R&R sampler. Let's see, hand-drawn chart, everything. This was given to me by Julie, Kansas City girl in Colorado World, and it is a friendship sampler. She found 2 copies of it at her thrifty craft store, which I'm so jealous about. And let me see if I can read the verse off of it like she did, just in case you don't watch Julie. If you're under a rock, you need to watch Julie, Kansas City girl in the Colorado World, if you don't. So, but it has a really nice verse about friendship on it. And so she asked me if I wanted to stitch it with her. And I said, yes, I do, because we're good stitchy friends. So we're gonna start that in January of next year. And I can't see it. Let's see if I can read it off. I can't read it off of there. So if you watch Julie's video, she read the verse. It's beautiful. If you happen to have this sampler, it is a really old sampler, hand-drawn chart and everything. Feel free to join us in the stitch along in January, because the more the merrier. The sampler was designed as a celebration of different designers. So I guess there's like 30 designers that are represented in the sampler, and they're represented by the initials and the different motifs. And this is from the 1990s, so really, like, it'd be hard to figure out who it was. If anyone knows, myself and Julie would love to know who the designers are. But you can personalize it and put your own things in it too. So thank you, Julie. I really, really appreciate that. And I am really looking forward to stitching this with you next year. And I'm sure it won't be done next year. It's 210 by 290. It's big. But yeah, there's 30 designers and distributors and thread companies represented in this one piece. Enjoy the challenge of finding and identifying them all. If I go to Diana Stitch again next year, I'm gonna bring this with me and I'm gonna ask them to tell me. So once again, if you have it, pull it out, stitch it with us next year. R&R Samplers Designer Motif Sampler. Really cute. And a few other things I have added to my collection this past couple of weeks. Ellen Chester had said she hates it when people call it haul or stash. And she said, we're adding to our collection. So I promised her I'd try to say collection. One thing I'd added to my collection past couple of weeks is an old good housewife sampler. It's MB 1838. This is old. I want to say this is probably one of her first few samplers. Somebody had an unload for one of the unloading sites for just a steal, so I had to grab it because I love her stuff. So really pretty. Calls for just DMC. A big girl. I would like to stitch that. I've wanted this for a little while, and I saw it once again for a very good price, so I picked it up. It's called the Celtic Band Sampler. It's from Homespun Sampler. Picture's not the greatest, but really, really pretty Celtic motifs. So it's not a reproduction sampler, it's just a, Celtic inspired sampler. So I would like to do that as well. Really pretty. This calls for DMC too. I've gotten to the point where I really appreciate when really pretty things are stitched for and called for DMC, because I am finding some of the fancy floss hard to find, and I have DMC. Also off one of the unloading sites, Old Prairie Schooler. This cardstock, focus. This is called Summer Breeze. It's book 137. I like the big sampler, but I really, really like the small one. Little blocks. And another Prairie Schooler, book 48. Little ornaments. Love these too. Love them. And last bit, give me a teeny tiny bit of crinkling here. When I was at the Ellen Chester retreat, Randy from World of Stitches, which is also, it's a Massachusetts LNS, it's in Littleton, Massachusetts. She had a sample book for Seraphim fabrics, and I looked through them, and oh my gosh, her fabrics are gorgeous, guys. I resisted, and I held myself to only getting 3 pieces of fabric, which sounds insane to buy 3 pieces of fabric at a time, but they're gorgeous. So let me show you. They came in and I went up and picked them up. This one's called Dragon Dust. These are all 40 count because 40 count's my jam. See, that's kind of true. Hold it back, that's better. So it's like a rust color with this gorgeous modeling in it. Just really gorgeous. So, and it's Zweigart based. You can see the orange stripe. That's Dragon Dust. This one I got because it reminded me of Christmas at Williamsburg. And now they have the two of them together. I should hold them together. This one's called Butternut. Gorgeous. Just a nice, warm, orangey brown. Some subtle modeling in it. Christmas at Williamsburg is definitely more modeled. Let's hold them up next to each other. They're similar. So I would say Christmas at Williamsburg is a little bit oranger. But kind of the same color family. And the last one is amazing. Like Randy told me when I ordered it, she was like, ooh. But I had a feeling it was going to be amazing, and it's amazing. I'm going to unfold this whole piece. This is called Solar Eclipse. How gorgeous is that? It's just like blue with this modeling. It almost looks a little bit like murky, but with more blue, like blue instead of brown. Love it. 40 count. I'm not sure I'm gonna stitch on that. I think I had bought it thinking about doing a couple of those Prairie Schoolers on it. Not Prairie Schoolers, Blackbirds on it. The ones that I have that look like a night scene. But so pretty. So that is what I got. Oh, and I got one pattern. I've been wanting this one for a while, like since it came out. And she had it, so I had to get it. Night Walk Down. And just really, really pretty. It's with the blue flower. And this is big. Like this is, I think I've said it before. If you put a pattern in one of these size bags, like I automatically think it's a small. Because this is the same size bag as Home of a Needleworker. I'm like, oh, it's a small. It's not. It's 256 by 151. 256 by 151, that's big. But it is gorgeous. That would actually probably look amazing on this fabric. It might. So, gorgeous. So that is what I added to my collection this week. And I am really making a concentrated effort to not add to my collection right now because looking through my stuff, I have so much stuff that I want to stitch and I just haven't gotten to it this year. So something else for 2020 is just really stitch everything I have and only buy the threads that I need to finish it, because honestly, even fabric, I think I have enough fabric to stitch everything that I want to stitch in 2020, or pretty darn close to it. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for liking and subscribing. My dryer is done, so I guess it's time to go fold laundry. But thank you very much for watching, liking, and subscribing. Please feel free to request to follow me on Instagram. I did make my Instagram private. If you have something in your pictures that show that you're a cross stitcher, like not a problem. I just occasionally post pictures of my kids on there and there's too many weirdos out there. So yes, but it's Gable Stitcher on Instagram as well. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great first couple of weeks of November, and I will see you all soon. Bye.